All right, let's talk about something we've all felt: kindness. It's supposed to be simple, right? But why does an act of goodness sometimes leave you feeling, well, kind of hurt and confused? Today, we're going to dive deep and try to make sense of the beautiful and sometimes baffling human heart. There's this really powerful idea that gets us started. It basically says that we can't control everything that happens to us, sure. But the real challenge, the biggest mystery of all, it's figuring out why people do the things they do. And yeah, that includes figuring ourselves out too. So that's exactly where we're going to start. In our first section, the puzzle of human hearts. Let's explore why kindness can sometimes feel like anything but. When you're a kid, the world seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? Good guys, bad guys. Simple. You just assume people are good. But then you live a little, you experience things, and you learn a tougher lesson. That sometimes what looks like kindness is actually a clever disguise for something else entirely. I mean, really think about it for a second. Have you ever gotten help that felt more like a trap? Or maybe someone was super nice to you, but you realized later it came with all these hidden strings attached? That sting of disappointment, that feeling of being let down, that is the exact puzzle we're trying to piece together. So how do we even begin to solve this puzzle? Well, it turns out it might be way simpler than we think. At the end of the day, there are really only two fundamental reasons why anyone is ever kind to you. Just two. That's it. And those two reasons are the heart of what we're talking about today: interest versus goodwill. Seriously, understanding this one difference is the key to protecting yourself and navigating the world a whole lot better. Okay, so let's break this down. On one side, you've got kindness that's based on interest. It's conditional, it feels like a transaction, and yeah, it always expects something back. It creates this feeling of pressure. But on the other side, you have kindness from pure goodwill. And that's totally different. It's unconditional, it's sincere, it asks for nothing in return, and it feels peaceful. This really gets to the hidden price of kindness: for interest. It's not a gift, it's a loan with ridiculously high interest rates. When you accept a favor like this, you're not being helped, you're being trapped. You're suddenly on the hook for a debt you never even consciously agreed to. There's this story that just perfectly captures this idea. Imagine this guy, a successful businessman who built a massive network by always treating people, always making connections. But the second his business failed and he needed help, he made 100 calls and not a single person picked up. Why? Because his network was never built on real connection. It was built on his usefulness. Once that was gone, so were they. And this ties right into a bigger idea, something like karma or cause and effect. Every one of those favors with strings attached creates a chain reaction. It might seem like a small thing to accept that help, but you could be tangling yourself up in a whole web of obligations you want no part of. But then you have the complete opposite of that. Real goodwill, it's quiet. It doesn't put on a big show. There's this beautiful story about a man working far away from home whose parents got sick. His old neighbor just stepped up, took them to the hospital, paid for things, and never said a word about it. When the son finally found out and thanked him, the neighbor just said, "Your parents were good to me once, I remember." That's it. That's real. A quiet, deep connection. Okay, so this all makes sense, but how do you actually use this in your real life? How do you practice it? Well, that brings us to our next section: the wisdom of boundaries. This is all about learning to be kind without letting yourself be used. The thing is, there's a real danger in being too good if you don't have boundaries. There's a story about this student with a huge heart who just couldn't say no to anyone. She did homework for people, she lent money, she ran errands, and pretty soon, people didn't see her as a kind person anymore. She became a public utility. Her giving wasn't appreciated, it was just expected. She was attracting users, not friends. And eventually, she just burned out completely. So the goal here isn't to stop being kind, it's to be smart about it. And here are 3 huge steps to get there. First, just observe for a bit before you jump in and trust someone. Don't get swept away by big, flashy gestures. Second, and this one is so important, get comfortable with the word no. Protecting your time and energy is not selfish, it's survival. And third, look for balance. Relationships can't be a one-way street forever. That just leads to a dead end. You know that saying, "you can't pour from an empty cup"? It's 100% true. This idea is captured perfectly in a Buddhist principle. You have to rescue yourself before you can rescue anyone else.
It's just like what they tell you on an airplane. Put your own oxygen mask on first. If you burn through all your energy and resources for everyone else, you'll eventually have nothing left to give anyone, especially yourself.
And this all leads us to our final and honestly, our most empowering section. It's about flipping the script on kindness. We're talking about kindness with power. This is where we reframe kindness not as weakness, but as a true strength. The ultimate goal is this incredible blend called compassion with wisdom. Think of it like two sides of the same coin. On one side, you have compassion, that warm, open heart that wants to help. But on the other side, you have wisdom, your sharp, clear mind that knows when, how, and who to help. Because compassion without wisdom can be reckless, and wisdom without compassion can be cold. You absolutely need both. And what's so cool is that when you get this balance right, you start to tap into something bigger. There's a story about a monk who gave away rice to the poor every single day. Someone asked him, "Aren't you afraid you'll run out?" And his answer was just brilliant. He said he wasn't losing the rice, he was planting it. And sure enough, as time went on, the donations to his temple just kept growing. The good he put out into the world came back to him. So, let's be super clear about the main takeaway here. True kindness isn't about being a naive pushover. It's not about letting people walk all over you. Real, sustainable kindness is a powerful mix of a warm heart and a clear mind. It is a sign of incredible inner strength, not weakness. And that leaves us with one last question, a really important one for you to think about. Now that you can see the difference between kindness for interest and kindness from goodwill, now that you understand the power of boundaries and the importance of wisdom, what kind of kindness are you going to choose to cultivate in your own life?